Hello, Sagittarius, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of March 29th through April 4th. And during that time, we have a waxing gibbous moon that we bring in from last week, and that's a time for a deeper understanding and outlook. We're acting on our intuition and our introspection to get those things done that we started during the new moon cycle. And we can also showing that we can demonstrate flexibility and make adjustments where they are needed. We then move into the full moon energy, and that full moon's on April 2nd, but of course that energy can last the day before and even the day after. And that's a time of heightened senses and emotions that you might feel snappy and irritable. You may just be full of energy and life like I am. Maybe changes in your sleeping patterns, that sort of thing. I can't tell you how many times in the middle of the night I wake up and the moon is full. I can see it out my window and there's no way I'm going back to sleep. So I might as well just get up and get something accomplished. But it is a good time for us to practice patience and calm. It's a little gift every month that we get to do that. But we then move into the waning gibbous energy, and of course that's a lot calmer, a good time for self-reflection, and or time to have another rebirth again. And now we're making positive changes, and we can focus, get rid of our negative thinking, and really start to work towards those things that we're trying to accomplish. So keep all of those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. It's a lot, I know. All right, let's get into this reading. This will be an intuitive general reading for the energies that you may or may not encounter, Sagittarius. So, as always, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this reading is to show the world the real you. Have you not been showing the world the real you, Sagittarius? I mean, look, I know you guys have your record for being a little spontaneous, being also a little bit flighty, and maybe you're not even sure what the real you is yet, and that's fine. You may keep looking, but let's show the world who the real you is for the moment. How about that? I love Sagittarians, I really do. I have a few around me. All right, let's get into this reading. Before I do my fun weekly reminder, we'll look at the magician who wants to come out. We're going to let him come out. My fun weekly reminder is that you try to get out into nature this week, Sagittarius. So get out, try to get a walk in, a nature walk, even if it's through the woods. If you can just get out and hear those sounds of nature, hear the birds a little bit, just be quiet and just feel it. It's just so refreshing and renewing. Also, maybe during the night you can get out. We've got this big full moon. If your weather allows, get out and enjoy that full moon energy. It can be really gorgeous at night too. So that is my fun weekly reminder. Let's get into this reading. Sagittarius, March 29th through April 4th. Show the world the real you, and your overall present energy is the magician. You can do anything, right? The magician can. And here's the magician asking you, okay, Sagittarius, what do you want to do? What is the real you right now, and how do you want to manifest? How do you want to bring something into fruition? What needs to change in your life, and which element would you use to change it? Do you need more love? Do you need more money? Do you need more passion? Do you need more intellect? Whatever one of those elements that you choose, think about it. Think about it for this week. Like, what do I want to change right now? What is lacking in my life? What do I need more of? What's out of balance? Maybe you've got too much of one thing and not enough of another. So ask yourself that question and then start working towards making the plan to manifest whatever that thing is into your life. Your current situation right now is the Queen of Cups. So you're definitely just imbalanced when it comes to your emotions. You not only understand yourself and how you're driven emotionally, but also you can look around the room. In your friends and family, who's feeling what, when, and why. Not everybody has that ability, but the queen can look around a room and she can read all of her constituents. She's talked to everybody. She knows what's going on. So that's definitely you right now, Sagittarius, and that's a good place to be. I'm sure people can confide in you. Just make sure that you're, just holding that information in good trust for them, right? At the root of your situation is the Fool card. So here you are on a new journey. The magician asked. Looks like you answered. Maybe you answered in some sort of emotional realm. Maybe that was the cup, maybe you chose the cup from the magician and it's just instantly like, okay, on a new path, there we go. Because there you go. This is the root of it, is that you are on a new path, and almost like you just instantly took this and ran with it, which is fine. That seems very Sagittarian of you, very spontaneous. Like, yes, let's go, let's do it. Very energetic, right? In your recent past, 10 of Pentacles, love this card. This is a card about long-term wealth and security and building something in your life that is going to go on well beyond you, whether it be material things or, I always think of this card when I look at it. I know it's Pentacles, but I also think of all of those gifts that we're giving to our families, our kids, the morals that you're bringing in, the attitudes about life, that they get to learn from you. They may not choose your thing at all. They may choose differently, but we're at least trying to keep, some things going that I'm sure were taught to us from our parents and from their parents. There's some generational stuff, traditions and things like that that we do try to keep going, right? What's on your mind this week, Sagittarius, is the Empress. Look at you. I love this reading. I love this reading just because of right here. Look at all of the yellow in this entire line here with the Magician, who's the master creator, right? The Fool, who's like, let's go, let's get it done. And the Empress, who's literally the goddess of creativity. And long term, like we're talking about long term here, the Empress, of course, she can be the card of pregnancy. And that's what I mean by long term. If the Empress, she enters into motherhood knowing that it's going to be 9 months of gestation, and then years and years of raising this child, and then seeing them all the way through adulthood. The Empress knows this. So on your mind is choosing, and for some of you, it will be choosing to start a family. It will be choosing to add to your family. But it doesn't have to be an actual child baby. That's, of course, I have to mention that it could be. Some of you, this could be, I need a pet. That's a very long term commitment, years and years. It could be, the Empress is about making a commitment to something that isn't going to last for a week. It's going to last for the long term. So, all the things you can think of. This is taking a new job. This is getting a pet. This is buying a home. This is just anything that you engage in that is not just a fly by night operation, something that's going to happen for the long term. Okay, what is just ahead of you this week is the Death card. So, is this actual death? No, never. But in order to make room for all of these things, for all of this long term stuff, something has to go. That's always the case. And usually, this death card is, if think of it as more of a part of you that's like, you know what, I can have all of this. I can have this new start and I can manifest these things and I can create this. But there's something that has to go, some part of you that's like, I can't do both things at once. So think about what that might be for you. For some of you, I know I think about my youth, and I'm going to use motherhood as an example here, even though this is just an example. But I knew before I entered into motherhood that I was like, the party days, those are kind of over, hanging out with my friends all the time, going to the bar, doing whatever, whenever. It's like I knew. I was like, that's going to have to stop. That, we're going to have to be more responsible here, and, toe the line, and that's just, you give up that part of you so that you can have this other beautiful part, which is motherhood. And I was happy to do it and glad that I did it. Not a sacrifice at all. So that's where death is, just making that space for something new to fill in, something new and usually more positive to fill the hole. What's in your advice position here is the Knight of Pentacles. So some sort of action here on the money front, on the financial front, some sort of activity. This could be, again, this could be something with the Empress, with this Fool. This could be just something where that, and maybe there's something in your life that's going to take money to make sure that that's not a thing you want to do anymore, right? It could be throwing some money at that. But there is some sort of action here when it comes to the material world. Is this moving? Like I said, perhaps. Is it leveling up at your job? Perhaps that would mean more money. So think about that. That's just in your advice is to go ahead and do the material or financial thing that it's going to take to move this whole thing forward for you. What is beyond your control this week is the Temperance card. I love this. It's beyond your control, that you're just in peace and in balance. And I mean, you are already here with this Queen of Cups, just being like, look at both of their, let me show you the feet here. So the Temperance, she's got one foot on dry land here and one in water. And then, well, look at the whole robe of the Queen of Cups here. But look at her foot too. One on dry land, one on water. It's that ability to be balanced, to be calm, to be perfectly centered, so that the decisions you're making are just coming from a very calm and centered place, which is really the best way to make decisions, right? What is beyond your control, or I'm sorry, what is your secret desire, or what are you trying to avoid? Is it your secret desire to have some financial and material stability? Could be. I don't know if that's anything anyone's ever trying to avoid, although it could be. You'll have to ask yourself that question. But if that's something you're moving towards, if you want to have that sort, maybe you don't have material stability right now. It could be that your things are up in the air. Maybe your house is out of order. I feel like this now. We're in the middle of moving a bunch of stuff around so that we can paint, and everything is just not where it should be. And I'm so, it just has me out of whack. I just had to get out of the house today. I was like, I just can't. It's just too much. Because I do like my things to be in a certain place, and I like the feel of my house. And when it's off, I'm off. But and that could be just the stability that you're lacking. It could just be that your material, I know, and it could be your house is just out of whack for whatever reason. So you get it back in order. Over time. I know mine will be, we're gonna paint, do some things, and then it will be back in order and it'll be better. And I'm excited about that part. But the living through it is like, oh, it's a lot. So anyway, ask yourself that question. Is it your secret desire to be financially and materially just stable? Or are you trying to avoid that? And it could be, look, again, Sagittarians are very spontaneous. You might be like, that seems boring to me. I'm trying to avoid that altogether. I want my life to be fun and exciting and different every day. And if that's you, then that's the way you are. So, again, this won't ring true for everybody either way. What is in your outcome here, Sagittarius, is the King of Swords. So the outcome is that you end up the week being very logical and methodical about something, about whatever these decisions or whatever this new path or whatever you're manifesting. There is a complete logical next step for you, and it'll be so blatantly obvious that you'll be like, well, duh, there's the obvious logical thing to do right there in front of me. So when that moment arrives, just be prepared for it, because it looks like you're very emotionally balanced and you're ready for it. You're letting something go to let this new path in. And I think it's just going to be logical and just plain as day. Let's see what's hidden from you here at the bottom of the deck is a new perspective. So we might not learn enough this week to have a new perspective. I feel like you're kind of on this path, and I'm gonna see you like with blinders on, like I'm gonna do this thing, and I'm just gonna, like there's just a super clear path for you, and there's not a whole lot of room for messing up, making big mistakes, or learning right now. You're just on a path to do a thing. And again, I think by the end of the week, if you do have a choice to make, it's going to be super, super obvious. So, all right, let's get a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final word for Sagittarius. And the card for you is a card I've seen before this month a couple of times, the creative no. This is maybe, this ending, and I was talking about, you don't get to go out with friends and do the thing. I mean, that was my example. But it might be something like that for you too, where you do have to find a way to just be creative. Some people are relentless when it comes to getting your time, getting your energy. And even though you might say no at first, they just go on and on and on. And you say yes to shut them up. We're not going to do that. It's almost like I was talking about this on another reading. There was a Seinfeld episode where Jerry, I guess there was a guy calling, and he always wanted to get together, and Jerry he was just not interested at all. So he made a list of excuses, a list of creative no's by his phone, so that if this guy called, he could pick it up, and oh, I can't, I have the dentist appointment that day, or all these. So if you have to think ahead and get creative about someone that is relentless, that's taking your time or your energy, and you just don't want to do it, maybe you do have to be a little creative, is what I'm trying to say. That was a lot of words to say to explain a creative no. All right, Sagittarius, let's see what you need to do in the way of self-care, and we'll get this reading wrapped up. self-care for Sagittarius, and the card that you get is the card called Body. Your body deserves your love. Pretty simple. Take care of you a little bit this week. While all this is going on, all these emotions, all this, trying to think about letting something go, just take care of your own body this week. Make sure you're sleeping well, eating well, exercising, doing your beauty routines, all of those things that make you feel awesome. And you just have to take care of yourself too. So, Sagittarius, thank you so much for being here. I hope there was something in this reading that you can take away and use in your life in a positive way this week. If you're comfortable sharing, of course, drop me a comment down below. Let me know if anything resonated or if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer those. Also, if you like my reading style, hitting like and subscribe will help you find me next week. And I think that's pretty cool that you'll come back and see another reading and see where things are going for you there. So, thanks so much, Sagittarius. Good luck with this, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.